All right, everyone. So, welcome to a weekend of meals. It is Friday afternoon, lunchtime, and that's where we're going to start. So, we're going to have some fish fingers, Mrs. Paul's fish fingers, and we received these at the food pantry yesterday. So, I've got 9 of them on there, and that's what we're going to have for lunch. And Glenn decided he didn't want anything else. He'll just eat them like that. So, that's all we're having. All right, everyone, so here is our very simple lunch for this Friday afternoon. There's some Mrs. Paul's fish fingers. So we got ketchup on one, tartar sauce on the other, and that's what our lunch is. Stay tuned for the next meal. All right, so it's time for our next meal, and it's going to be supper for Friday night, and it's a super easy supper to make. We're taking these rolls that we got from the pantry. And these are the last two that are thawed out. I froze 8 for next week's camping trip. We had some sandwiches on some, and these are the last two. So we're going to just have some pizza on rolls. So we had to adjust our supper because what we were going to have for supper yesterday and today, that's the oven preheating, we decided to make that one of our camping meals, so we had to come up with other meals. And that way all the rolls get used up. I had pizza sauce in the freezer and some pepperoni in the freezer. And I had a block of mozzarella cheese that I could shred. So everything worked out. Alright, so I'm just going to put pepperoni on both of them. And then Glenn's going to have some jalapenos on his as well. I'm just going to go with the pepperoni. Normally I would put pineapple, but I really don't feel like cutting or opening up a big can of pineapples and just using a few. I know you can freeze it, but just don't feel like doing that. I just chopped up some jalapeno slices for Glenn's pizza. All right, in the oven they go. All right, everyone, so here is Glenn's pizzas with jalapeno and pepperoni, and we love that mozzarella cheese. It's called a creamy, and I don't know if it's new, but we received it at the pantry some time ago, and it melts wonderful. So this is Glenn's pizza on rolls, and stay tuned for mine. All right, and here is my pizza just with pepperoni. So that is our supper for this Friday night. Stay tuned for the next meal on Saturday. Morning, everyone. So it is Saturday morning, and I'm making Saturday morning's breakfast, and that's our next meal. I'm going to be using these croissants that we received at the food pantry and making some breakfast sandwiches. So as you can see, I got bacon going, and we'll make some eggs. And I took some of that creamy mozzarella and just sliced it thinly. Hopefully you can see that. And I'll just put these on the sandwiches. So that's what our meal is for this Saturday morning breakfast. Okay, so I got the eggs going, and I've got cheese on top of them, and I put a cover on it so it could melt the cheese faster. I've already toasted the croissants, so I'm just waiting for some cheese to melt, and we'll be ready to go. Alright, looks like the cheese is nice and melted, so I'm going to go ahead and start making these sandwiches. Alright, everyone, so here you have it, breakfast sandwiches, and this is a complete food pantry meal. Everything on here for these sandwiches are from the food pantry. The bacon, the eggs, the croissants, both cheeses. This is that creamy mozzarella that's nicely melted, and this is the cheddar cheese we received. So this is a complete food pantry breakfast meal. So stay tuned for our next meal today. All right, everyone, so for a dessert for our camping trip, I am making an apple pie. This is not homemade whatsoever. Well, it's made at home, but it's not from scratch. I am using cans of Great Value apple pie filling. and Pillsbury pie crust. So, and the reason I'm doing that is because I'm very tired and I don't have time. I've been packing stuff throughout the day. I made a pot of chili, and I'm just tired. Yep. So I'm gonna make this apple pie. I had these pie crust sitting out for a little bit. And I just have to cut them. And I'm using a square pan because I don't have a pie pan. I have to say, I don't think I've ever had apple pie or made this with this filling. I think I've used this filling before, like on a turnover dessert made from Pillsbury crescent rolls. Oh, it looks like this might fit just fine. Alright, I got the crust laid out as best as I could. And now I'm going to throw some of this in. Alright, just going to spread this out. I don't know if I should add another can or not. I suppose this might be a little thin if I don't. But that is quite a bit of apples. You know what? I think I'm just going to go to the 1 can right now and see how it comes out. It might be a little thin, but that way we know if we want it that way or with 2 cans. Yeah, I think I'm just going to leave it that. And now I'm going to get the other crust and put it on top. Okay, so it's not the prettiest on the edges, but it'll do. Most likely we'll just tear that crust, part of the crust off anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and make some slits in here. Alright. I was contemplating putting some sugar, a little bit of sugar on top. I think I will do that. Alright, we'll leave it at that. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and I've got the oven preheated to 425. Going to put it in for like 40 to 45 minutes. Alright everyone, so I just took the apple pie out of the oven and it looks pretty good. It didn't quite cook or it didn't bake for 40 minutes. It was about probably 35, so even a little less than that. It browned pretty quick, so I decided to take it out. Alright, so we're going to take this for our camping trip, so you'll have to watch that video to see how it looks and how it tastes. Alright everyone, so this is the last meal of this weekend of meals. It is Sunday evening and I am cooking a pot of chili. For those of you that are new and have never seen the way I cook chili, this is the way I cook chili. Yeah, I was never introduced to this until I got to Wisconsin over 20 years ago. So I will show you along the way. But I've got some chopped up onions. I'm going to put 2 pounds of ground beef. And I'm putting a lot of ground beef because we are going camping tomorrow and we're taking some chili. And we're going to eat some tonight. So, alright, I will show you as I go. Okay, so one of the next steps of the chili, our type of chili, is I'm boiling up some spaghetti. And I broke spaghetti noodles into 3s. It's a little easier to spoon it up that way in the chili. So we're just going to wait for these to get done. Alright everyone, so I am going to be draining the spaghetti now, but I'm not going to drain it into a strainer, so I'll show you what I do. Okay, I'm steaming up the camera. All right, so this pot of spaghetti, I'm just going to pour the water into another pot. And I'm going to leave enough water to cover the spaghetti, and that's how I'm going to, I guess I'm not draining them technically, but this water I'm going to set aside because I'm going to use it to empty out the bottle of chili sauce. When I pour it in there, I'm going to put some water in it and shake it up to get the rest of it out. Okay, so right now I'm going to go ahead and grab my ground beef and onion. Oop, dumping it all over. I did drain the ground beef. All right, so I'm going to take 2 bottles of Heinz chili sauce. You can use whatever brand, and dump them in here. All right, and then that water that was from the spaghetti, I'm just going to dip this bottle in there. Just so it has some water, and shake it up to get the rest of the chili sauce out of there. And I'll do the same for my second jar. Okay, so I got the chili sauce. Now I'm going to throw in a can of tomato soup. And I'll just put this in that water as well. That water is hot, so and then throw in a can of diced tomatoes. Juice and all. And then 1 can of chili beans. Oops, I'm just making a mess everywhere. All right. And now you just want to mix all this together. I did season the ground beef just with salt and pepper. You can use whatever seasonings you want, but the chili sauce gives it a good taste. So I'm going to go ahead and just throw this back on the stove on a lower heat just to warm everything together. And then it'll be ready to serve. And that's it. That's our pot of chili, the way we make it here in Wisconsin. Now, me being from California, I never heard of it this way until I got to Wisconsin. And I've been here for about 20 years now. But it's good. It is good. And for a side dish, we take some saltine crackers, spread some butter on them, and throw some strawberry jam on it, and eat it with the chili. It makes a great combination. And this is especially good on those chilly fall nights. All right, I'm going to get this back on the stove. I'm going to go ahead and close this video out here in our weekend of meals. So thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And with that, remember to live life, be good to yourself, and be good to others. Until next time.